the insane blow up people had of this movie on Netflix, Leave the World Behind.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's kind of talking about the movie itself. Like, oh man, that ending sucked. That was the worst. She just spent the whole movie trying to find an episode of Friends. It's ridiculous. And then you had people who are like, okay, there's a bunch of signs in this movie. The Obamas, who are the executive producers, were warning us about this. Are they warning us? What's going to happen? Are we going to see chaos? Is there going to be a huge grid outage? Is there going to be a huge internet hack? What's going to happen? And there was all kinds of talk on TikTok of all the different subliminal messages in this movie. But it was the conversation that stemmed it with it about it with my wife, Kelsey, afterwards, where I was like, so in user experience design, which is what I do for a living, we have this thing, this mechanism that we call priming. We use it to, when we're kind of designing digital products, we kind of give little clues and signals, whether it be visual or by sound, of like reminding the user of how they should use a product. I turned around to Kelsey and I was like, this video seems like there's a lot of priming happening. I feel like it feels like this was a bit of a priming of society, of like something could be coming. Now, I'm not speaking on facts at this point, but when there's smoke, I'm starting to see maybe there's a fire. And Kelsey says, you're crazy. Like, it's just a movie. Enjoy it. I'm like, whatever. Sure. Then the trailer for Civil War comes out. And it's all about how America goes into a civil war. And it's with Kirsten Dunst and a couple other actors' names. And I said, that's coming out in spring 2024. Huh. You don't think they're priming us yet, Kelsey? Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Then Mark Zuckerberg and 10 other billionaires found building bunkers in various parts of this world. Obviously, Zuckerberg down in Hawaii, a couple others building theirs in New Zealand. And then you wonder, what is going to happen? And this is where obviously your conspiracy hats go on, because this is weird. The fact that we're seeing so much media about civil discord, problems happening to our electrical grids, and we have an American election that's probably going to be the most contested election that we'll ever see in our lifetimes happening this year. Something's going down, dude.
Yeah, it's not something that I would say that I haven't thought about, especially because my hat, I'm an evaluator, I'm a researcher. I work in health as a health researcher, evaluator, coordinator. And so what I work with metrics, I work with different frameworks, and I work with data. Day in, day out, I live in Excel. And when I look at the different metrics like happiness, quality of life, social determinants of health, anger, societal anger, hope for the future, these different things that are good indicators of like, what's the temperature of society right now? And they're all real bad. And then we see things like, oh, the UK and the US just bombed a couple of ships in the Red Sea. And it's like, oh, great. So now we're getting into it with Yemen, and you've got what's happening in Israel, and it's still happening in Ukraine. And then China's talking about Taiwan again. And it's just like, or hasn't stopped talking about Taiwan, to be quite honest. And I'm like, holy crap. And then you have people in your own country and in your own community arguing about which bathroom to use. I'm like, are we really talking about this right now? Like, is that the most important thing to be on our minds? And then, like you said, when you look at the amount of dystopian future content that is being pushed out, and the amount of people who are looking at this and going, yeah, I think this could be a possibility. It's concerning. And it's not concerning because I think that it's a prophecy or anything, but I think it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what's concerning to me. I've heard the quote before about the two wolves, and it's like one is starving and one is well fed. And it's like hope is one and anger is the other. And it's whatever you feed is the one that's going to be well fed. And I really believe that that's kind of what we're seeing, where it's like, if we are feeding into this dystopian future and we're feeding into this idea of not trusting our neighbors and acting in ways where we don't trust our neighbors. We're ratting them out, during COVID, or we're, not trusting them and cutting them out and canceling people because they have one different belief than you do. So therefore, because they don't accept the whole buffet, you don't invite them out to dinner. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that kind of mentality that I'm really done with. And I think that that's the problem, is that we're seeing that happen, that division and that complete cancellation of people, that we're creating this future that we don't want. And that's what's concerning me, is that self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's playing out in the metrics that I look at on quality of life, on hope, on life expectancy. Like, one of the things I saw before Christmas was life expectancy has gone down consistently over the past 3 years in Canada. That's not a good metric to go down. And it's directly related to things like stress, heart disease, illnesses that are born from the way that you perceive the world, which is wild to think that our minds affect our bodies that much, that we could bring down life expectancy. But I really believe that that's what's happening. And I think you're right. I think there might be some priming happening where it's like, get ready. And I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's a completely intentional thing where it's people behind the curtain, making it so. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I wonder if it's because it's on people's minds so much that it's happening. And it's coming out because that's what's top of mind, and people are naturally gravitating towards that because it's just feeding itself. But
I hear you. This is the meme that comes to mind for me. This is what media and government's doing right now. Come on, do something. They're poking us, hoping something happens. That's how I view it. The media, politics is downstream from culture, and what we're seeing in culture right now is the increase of media, specifically in 2024, coming out this year. End of 2023, these movies about just absolute chaos. And personally, I think this year is going to make the summer of 2020 look like nothing.